If you're watching this clip on the Cycling GK YouTube channel, the full football fill-in episode is now available to watch and listen to on Spotify. And it's also live on the Cycling GK YouTube channel on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Let's move on to Spurs then, because I don't think anybody saw this coming. Actually, do you know what? Some people might have saw this coming, because obviously massive injuries to Maddison, to Van der Ven, Romero missing as well. And they are the three players, I'd say, that really get Spurs ticking, aren't they? So this is a huge result for Wolves as well, wasn't it?
Well, this is the issues that we spoke about with Spurs. If they had injury problems, suspensions, in key areas, can they survive?
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, going on the early kick-off on Saturday, then it looks as though they can't survive missing the three big players like that. But I think Wolves are a dark horse team. I think they've been really, really good this season. They've had the most poor decisions against them. I think they could have been easily within that top 7 or 8 with the points that they've lost. I think Gary O'Neill's been a phenomenal manager. I think they are a really, really good team. I don't suggest that they're a top 10 team, but I think they're going to cause problems for most teams. They've beat City, and ultimately they deserve to beat Tottenham. You don't expect to concede 2 in injury time when you're a top team, even with all the problems you've had there. But the first goal for Wolves, I have to say, is honestly, if anybody else had scored that goal, touch, volley,
it was incredible.
Opposite foot, it was an incredible goal, and you just saw it was like a needle going into the whole Spurs team. The wind just went out the sails. And to be honest, I've worked with Lamina. He was a real top player at Southampton, and I thought he would have gone on to bigger and better things, and that's not been disrespectful to Wolves. He's come back to the Premier League. I think he's a phenomenal footballer, and you just saw at that minute, it's a quick free kick, play it wide, runs off the back of Højbjerg, and then we talk about the defending. Dyer lets him go. Yeah. As a centre-half, just go with a run, and you probably get a sliding tackle, a block, and that's why Dyer's not been in the team. Yeah. He lets him run,
especially in the 90 whatever minute as well.
You've done everything.
You're nearly at the line. You've got to just go right. Let's just everybody quickly get back in. Do not let anything like that happen. How worried should Spurs be then? Because it's been an absolute barnstorming start to the season from everybody's actually saying, they could actually do it this year. They could actually do it. A couple injuries down now, and it's almost like the wind's really just been taken out their sails.
Well, it was weird for us in a way, because they're 1-0 up in the first 3 minutes, and the football was fantastic. The way the movement of Son to pull people out, and then they exploited the space with Porro, and then Johnson moves into the Son position. It was a brilliant goal, and you think, well, they've got all these players out, but they still know how they're playing, and we've seen that happen with Klopp in the past, where players are missing and they still play the same way. And after that, they did nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I don't know whether they thought that was going to be enough against Wolves, because they don't score goals, because in the second half, Wolves absolutely dominated them. I think I am worried about Spurs, because between now and January, which is when they can spend or get people back, we've probably got about 8 games, which is a large portion of the season. So if they're going to drop and hemorrhage points between that, they will drop down the league. And suddenly a title race will be 7th or 8th. So I am worried about Spurs, because I don't think they've got the quality. But I was going to ask you, Ben, as somebody who likes Spurs, Ange, Monday night, we've not spoken about the tactics, the high line, and the tactics yesterday when he's 1-0 up. He's probably gone a little bit defensive against Wolves, and it's cost him. Chelsea went a little bit on the front foot. Do you think Ange, the bubbles burst a little bit with the media now?
I don't know if the bubbles burst with the media, because I still think he's going to do what he's got to do. But I just do think that, especially in the Premier League, when the level that you're playing against is always going to be very high. They're always going to have quick players. They're always going to have tactical, skillful players. The other night, for example, against Chelsea, everybody's seen the lines, haven't they? Everybody's seen the freeze frames of when you've got like 4 or 5 Spurs defenders on the halfway line. And I'm thinking, you can't do that in the Premier League. You cannot do that in the Premier League. Yeah, in the Scottish League, you're not going to have players that are going to be able to run like an absolute steam train. In the Premier League, every team is full of them. And it's asking for trouble. It really, really is. Even against Wolves, when you're in the 90th, 92nd, 90th, so at some point you have to look at each other and go, boys, right, let's get it together now, right? Everybody just stick together.
Have you ever been
tight.
down to 9 men?
I don't know. But either way, even if you go down to 10, you know what's coming.
You've got to drill in.
Even if you go down to 10, you know what's coming. But you do work on this in training, don't you? Yeah. Managers genuinely will go, right, we're going to play 11v10 today, lads. Just in case this happens, this is what we do. And that means basically one of the front people, basically, you drop into that midfield, you drop into basically a holding midfielder, and we all stay there. We get tight, we get compact, we make sure they don't get in behind us. If they're going to get down the sides, they get down the sides. Cool, we'll deal with a ball into the box when that happens. But I just don't feel like he's kind of reading those situations at this moment in time where he does have to just go, like, lads, just chill for a minute. I know we love to play a lovely game of football, but now's not the time, all right?
But is that the difference? Because normally, 100%, you go low, deep blocks and make the other team beat you. And again, because he's new to the Premier League and fearless, really, in the way that Tottenham have started the league, he's gone, do you know what, we're going to do something different here. And he played the real high line. We played it at Southampton probably 3 or 4 years ago. And disaster after 2 games. We had to change because there's too much space in behind, and the quality, they're 2-3 passes and then suck you in, boom, and you can't do it. And ultimately, that tactic cost him in the end. But he tried to do something different. But then the good of the low block, just to try and see a game out with 11 men against Wolves, and couldn't do it then. So managers have to make these decisions. I've played against or been in a team with 9 men once in the season we were in the Premier League, and we got beat 3-2 at home off Liverpool. I mean, honestly, you feel as though it's impossible. It's bad enough playing the top teams when you've got 11 players, but we had 9 men against Liverpool, and yeah, I mean...
It was a busy afternoon, was it?
A busy afternoon. And I actually thought we did amazing stuff, but you still get beat, and it means nothing, you know what I mean? And actually, we went down anyway, but that kind of was the end for us. We couldn't...
Well, it's surely about keeping the scoreline, isn't it? Because if Spurs are in 4th place and Chelsea are in 4th place in May and you miss out by 2 goals, you look back at that and you go, 4-1.
That could have
been.
We
might have kept it down to 2-1.
Yeah, but that's the point, I think, because the high line really nearly worked, didn't it? But as soon as it goes to 2-1,
It's gone.
It's finished now, right? Come on, we've got to have a different plan at this point because there's no point getting beat 3 or 4. We've got beat.
Mate, the amount of times Vicario, especially against Chelsea, the amount of times Vicario...
That could have been 9.
Yeah, the 40 yards out from his goal and he was doing last-ditch tackles, just getting there in front of the...
It's another red then, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Exactly,
you're forcing another issue. It's just crazy.
Just quickly, a bit of love to Wolves, okay? So up to 12th in the league. Bearing in mind, they've had some unbelievable
Could be in a title race.
They have had some unbelievable bad luck so far this season.
Honestly,
but we're buzzing for Gary O'Neill, aren't we?
Yeah, I absolutely love everything he's done. And, I think Wolves have been probably out of the whole pack the one surprise this year.
The whole pack, I like it. It was a Wolf reference.
Yeah.
Gary O'Neill's...
Ben, Craig Dawson, massive shout-out. He was world class.
He's always world class. It's Craig Dawson. You know what you're going to get from Craig Dawson. He will never come on the Fozcast. He hates doing stuff like that. He is an absolute weirdo. But it's fine. We love you though, Watto. And by the way, if you can watch...
I know you love me. I know you love me.
We love you guys. If you can, go and watch Gary O'Neill's his speech that he did after the game. It was very nice. It was good to watch.